Greetings all! Today, we'll be examining the relatively rare normal-type Pokemon Komala, the Drowsing Pokémon. Though they might seem harmless to some in their sleep, Komala are still potent little creatures that can give a solid whack to anything that dares to try to disturb them.
Komala themselves resemble koalas to a great extent, with semi-quadrupedal bodies covered in bluish-gray hair, having 3 black claws on each foot and 5 on each hand, not to mention black paw markings and white tufts of hair on their neck, cheeks, tail, and eyebrows. They have large ears with fluffy orange hair covering their insides, with a large black nose and closed eyes, and they constantly carry around a dark brown section of tree with lighter colored ends from chewing it into a manageable log form. Originally imported from Australia and rendered a part of the natural wildlife of several other regions over the span of a few decades, Komala are unique among mammals and Pokemon in general because they are never actually in a state of alertness or are ever even awake. These beasts are born asleep and will die asleep, never waking up from their slumbering state. It is believed that this is due to a combination of both a mutation that increases the production of melatonin in their bodies by an insane amount, which cannot be corrected in any way, shape, or form, and the strong sedative properties of the toxic leaves of the one only plant they feed on for sustenance. As such, these creatures are always in a state of perpetual drowsiness and will never wake up no matter how loud someone shouts or how badly they are hurt. This can make them a handful to work with in battle, but it does grant them an edge as a result of the signature comatose ability, which effectively allows them to battle as if they are asleep and therefore will be immune to all other status conditions as if they were afflicted with sleep, though this also leaves them vulnerable to attacks and techniques that can only affect targets that are asleep. While it has been observed that these creatures can make sounds and expressions on their faces that indicate they might be aware of their surroundings, tests have shown that this is merely a reaction to dreams they are having and thus not reflective of their current physical or mental state. The dreams of these creatures are actually particularly interesting because, since they don't have the ability to actively take sensory information in prior to sleeping, the content of their dreams is erratic and does not reflect their experiences very strongly, leaving Pokemon that feed on dreams like Drowsy and Hypno to take a gamble on whether they can consume a good dream or a bad dream from them. Thankfully, these creatures are not completely defenseless in battle, for as long as they are not in a state of deep sleep, under which they will cease to move entirely, they can still thrash around in their dreams if they are experiencing a bad one and can hit with surprising physical force despite their small size.
Moreover, it has been observed that their saliva is laced with the same excess melatonin that keeps them asleep, and according to ancient tradition, if you take the saliva left by them after they have eaten leaves, their primary source of nutrition, and water it down, it can be used to make a tonic that could both ensure a good night's sleep and be used as a potent anesthetic before surgery.
In order to help calm these creatures and keep them from always thrashing about, their parents will often give the offspring a small log to cling to, allowing them to hug something tightly if they are having a bad dream, and overall giving them the closest thing to a security blanket they could have in the wild. They will thrash around wildly if they lose this log, and will not come down until they find something else to cling to. In some cases, these creatures will even cling to the arms of friendly trainers if they can't find the log or an object of some sort, and while it could be assumed that this is their way of showing trust with someone, this is unlikely as they are still not all that conscious while the event is occurring. Even if it seems like a bother to some, this log can be put to use in battle, as it can allow these creatures to learn moves like Slam and Wood Hammer, and therefore make themselves a potential threat. This can be further seen in their natural powers, as while they might not be the best when it comes to moving around or dealing with physical offense, these beasts are able to muster notable force in a fight and can use the log as a shield to buffer against special attacks a bit, the base attack, special attack, and special defense stats being above average, fully evolved normal type Pokemon, so they definitely have their uses when needed.
These adorable little sleepyheads can honestly be really relaxing to be around, and I wouldn't doubt that many would seek them out just to have a nice, quiet rest with them. While the state of perpetual sleep might not come off as all that healthy or even advisable for them, it's simply a way of life for them, and they seem to be doing quite well regardless. Sleepwalking, sleep eating, sleep battling, and everything else under the sun. No matter what it might be, these beasts can do it in their sleep, and more than prove to be feisty animals to take on. If you really want to go after them and add them to your team, or defeat them otherwise, just be wary of trying to use status conditions, as they really won't work, and will just give these mammals a bit of extra time to retaliate with a walloping blow you might not see coming.
While they might not come off as the biggest of threats to most, Komala are still crafty creatures that can make good use of the sleepy forms to disarm those that underestimate them. The beasts may not have a lot of bells and whistles to them, but they can still put up a fight with the log they carry around as a security blanket.
As such, do yourself a favor and make sure not to cross them if you can help it, or they might just take a short break from the rest to pummel you in the face before returning to whatever dream they put on pause to do so.
Thank you for watching this video. It brings me great joy to be able to speak to you all in the world each and every time we meet like this, to explore the many different facets of both the world of Pokemon as we know it, and the world as we live it, through every adventure we have with Pokemon by our side. If you'd like to, please subscribe, ring the bell and all that jazz, to keep yourself updated on content uploads and other materials of the like. You can also follow me on Twitter if you'd like to know right away when something new is uploaded, and my written works, from which most of this is based on, can be found on DeviantArt. Links to both can be found in the description down below. Remember that the world of Pokemon is a place full of wonder and mystery, and you never know what to expect. So, stay vigilant, keep watch, and always be prepared for the unexpected. Until next time, trainers and friends of all sorts, have a wonderful time.